Today is May 23rd. Welcome back to the patch. Gonna get into a patch update. Got caught up on some weeding and got the fabric underneath the mains. Get into a couple things that I'm doing different and the same this year, and show you guys the plants. So we're gonna start off on this end of the patch. This particular plant right here is the 2551 Ford. It's probably about 8 or 9 feet long. Secondaries are a little slow, as you can see. Something I'm doing different on this side of the patch, or at least on this plant, is not doing any vine bearing. I am putting these styrofoam 1x pads that I'm trimming and putting them underneath the main, and then using seed starting mix underneath the nodes. I'll still get a taproot. It'll go down into the normal soil, but again, just kind of elevating that main a little bit. And then eventually some of that soil may wash away, and we'll see how that works out through the season, if I end up pulling the styrofoam and just letting it float, or how that looks. But at least there's no real soil contact on that main, so see how that goes this season. But there's the 2551 Ford. There is a female, about the second node back. I'll probably be picking that off. Not definitely a length and or plant size to be able to have a keeper, but probably about another 5 feet. I'll be considering any females at that range. So move on to the next plant here, which is the 2190 Bledo. Nice plant. It does have a very thick main, and the secondaries coming off are fairly thick. A little bit better secondary production coming off under there. Length of plant isn't quite as long as the 2551 there, but definitely has some good vigor. Plant thickness is encouraging. I love to see the thickness in the main. Everything going well with it overall so far. No female shown in the tip, which is fine. Again, want to get it somewhere out in that range, or even a little deeper. So I'm okay with where we're at right now. Considering all of our plants, just kind of looking at their sizes, I'm probably about almost a week. I would say between 5 and 7 days behind where I'm normally at. But that's to be expected with the rain and the cold weather and things we've had this season. So not that big of a deal. We'll be able to get plenty of growth in this season, but just kind of evaluating where I'm at compared to years past. Move on to the next plant. Next plant we have here is the 2560 Ginger. This one's acting a little bit different than my ones last year, but still doing okay as a whole. Not quite as thick of a main vine, and I'm getting some secondary production, which is good now, but just a little thinner than I would like. This was the better of the two, and this one's still doing okay. It's just, again, not as thick and robust as I would like, or I have expected of the 2560 that I've had last year. So we'll see how she picks up as the season goes on. I do have a little bit of yellowing. Obviously, cold nights and lack of sunshine will do that, but we'll see how we go this next week. 2560 Ginger. Again, no females on this one. Mains are gonna have a little bit of soil, a seed starting mix again, but no vine bearing on any of these plants. Head over to the next plant. This plant right here is the 2097 Kaismore. It was the runt of the litter, and I would say it's comparable to the other plants now. Got a fairly good main going there. Secondary growth is kicking off nicely now, so everything looks pretty good. This one was way behind the other plants, so for it to be even at the same mark as the other plants, pretty encouraging to see. Nice big robust leaves. Again, the only thing that this plant has going on with it is a little bit of light in color, but again, cool nights, lack of sunshine, that'll happen. Got full faith in it. Got about 3 or 4 nodes under there with some seed starting mix. Again, nothing being really buried. Just trying to encourage that bottom taproot. Swing over to the last plant. This is the 1481 Bayuk. This is the biggest one in the patch right now. It's probably a tick over 10 feet, 10, 11 feet. It has a female at that leaf node. I may pollinate it just to see how things go with it, but obviously still too early in the game. I'd like to get that one somewhere out in there. So in that 20-ish foot range would be preferable. Secondary growth is pretty good on it. A little bit thin on the secondaries as far as the thickness, but the main is pretty good, so I'm not too concerned there. I did lose a secondary here in the wind. It kind of twisted, but it was pretty close to the crown, so not a huge loss. You can kind of see a couple of these leaves folded over on the different plants. We had massive wind the last 2 or 3 days, so able to get through that. That's the only reason these hoop houses are still in the patch. I was using them as a windbreak because that's north and the cooler wind was blowing hard in from the north, so left the hoops there for a couple days to kind of shield the plants. But again, 1481 Bayuk looking pretty good. So short video this week, guys. I just want to kind of do an overall patch tour, kind of show myself for future years where I'm at in this juncture, how the plants are doing, maybe any genetic anomalies or things that are going well with a specific plant. I'm using a pre-emergent this year, so hopefully keeping the weeds under control has been my biggest focus this year. Obviously there's edges here which I'll get taken care of, but that's not as big of a deal. Main part that I'm trying to focus on is as the plant grows, staying ahead of it. So I did put a pre-emergent down before the plants came out of the hoops, and then once they came out of the hoops I cleaned up the area around the plants by hand. Once the plants get to about this stage where they're running the secondaries out, I'll get some more pre-emergent to lay out between the vines as they go, and just kind of stay ahead of it that way. I got some grasses that I'm doing with the hula hoe. I might come back and spray them so I don't disturb the soil as much, but we'll stay focused on that throughout the season. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Catch you guys on the next one.